Hey, what's going on guys? Kevster here, and today I am bringing you a beginner's guide for the Feral Druid. As you guys can see right here, I'm not very geared. You could say I'm pretty undergeared. I'm coming back from patch 4.1. This gear used to be good, but I can still do some decent damage. I'm not gemmed either. So this video is going to be covering the rotation of a Feral Druid, the gemming, the spec, and the glyphs, and the stat priority, but stat priority is not too complicated. So first things first, I'm going to start off with the rotation. First things you need to know about a Feral Druid is you need to keep up your Rake, your Mangle, and your Rip at all times. There can't be a single moment where those are down, or you will lose a lot of DPS. So I'm just gonna firstly go through my rotation. I'm not gonna really explain it right away, and then I'll slow it down so you guys can see it more clearly. So what I did there is like I said, I put out all three of those buffs or debuffs, dots, whatever, and Savage Roar. So the way I did it is you got to go in. Can I take those off? You got to go in with Feral Charge. If you're pegged into Stampede, you'll get a free Ravage. So let's do that. Feral Charge, Ravage. Like I said, Rake, Mangle. Doesn't really matter which one you do, but Mangle should be first because that increases your damage of all bleeds by 30%. Then you're going to Rip. Then you're going to Rake, or Shred, sorry. Shred as much as possible. And remember to keep Rake up because it's about to fall off. Shred. And then I still have a lot of time on my Rip, so I can go for a Savage Roar. Then I got Clear Casting. And I should make it back to get Rip back up. So that's pretty much what you want to do. I'm going to go quickly download Recount so you guys can see exactly how much DPS that does. And I didn't really include Berserk or Tiger's Fury, but when I do test it with the Recount, I will include that. So I'll be right back in 2 seconds. Alright, so I'm back with Recount, and now I'm going to get right into my DPS, or my rotation, and I will show you guys the final number. Alright, so that ended about 15k. It's gonna go down because the dots are still going. So that finished at about 15k, and what you guys saw when I came over here and Fatal Charge back in, that's optional. You don't need to do that. A lot of people just stay and beat the shit out of it from there, but it does give you a free Ravage, which is 2 combo points. And the add-on that you guys saw come up tells you that was like telling me all my debuffs, all the debuffs I had on them, and the ones I needed to put up. That's an add-on called Bad Kitty. You guys can go pick that up off Curse. It really helps if you're just getting into Feral DPS. I already know this rotation by heart, so I don't need it. But if you guys are having trouble and you're noticing that your DPS isn't too good, it's definitely a good idea to go pick that up. There might be some other add-ons that you can get for Ferals, but Bad Kitty will certainly help. Now for the next portion of this guide, we're going to be moving on to gemming and enchants. Alright, first off, for gems for the Feral Druid, the red one that you're going to want to put in all of your red slots and prismatic slots is the Delicate Infernal Ruby. They're somewhat expensive. They're not that bad. It depends what server you're on. Mine are 160 gold on my mage. They're like, on my mage server, they're like 90 something, I think. So it depends really. If you have a lot of money, you can go for the Delicate Queen's Garnet, which are even more, 1.5k. I would recommend just sticking with the Inferno Rubies because I'd rather not. This is just me. I'd rather not pay like what 1,300 more gold just for 10 agility. If you have enough gold and you want to spend it on that, then go ahead. But I would never spend that much gold on it. And then next for the blue gem, we're gonna want the Glinting Demon's Eye. That's 20 agility, 20 hit. Nothing special there. Just Glinting Demon's Eye. That's all you gotta know. And then for the yellow, I think it's Fine Ember Topaz. No, that's not it. I think it's maybe the Adept Ember Topaz. Yeah, Mastery and Agility. Nothing too special there. Mastery is a very good stat, so is Agility. Definitely want to go pick that one up. Agile Shadow Spirit. Fuck, the phone's ringing. Alright, 2 seconds, guys. Okay, I'm back. And for the meta gem, you're going to want the Agile Shadow Spirit. Gives you 54 agility and 3% critical effect. So that's it for gems. I'm still not done with enchants. For the consumable item enhancement, for the chest, you're gonna want major agility. No, bracer. Crap. Hold on. I'm gonna go figure out. I'm gonna write down a list and then I'll search it up one by one. Okay, for the chest, you're gonna want either peerless stats or mighty stats. Mighty stats gives you 15 of everything, and peerless stats give you 20. Again, this depends on how much gold you have. If you can't afford it, if you can't afford that one, I understand. I can't either. So just stick with the 15. For your two-hander, you're gonna want the mighty agility. Pretty expensive, but it's worth it. For the head, I'll just do this real quick. For the head, you're gonna want the Arcanum of Ram-Kahen. You need revered status with Ram-Kahen, which is a Cataclysm faction. Not too hard to get. Gives you 60 agility, 35 haste. Worth it. And then for your shoulders, you're going to want the Exalted thing, or Revered. Exalted is just better with Therazane. I'm still not Exalted with Therazane, so I have the Revered one. But it gives you the 30 agility, 20 mastery. Definitely worth it, so you're going to want to pick those up. So I did the this thing and that thing. So now for the legs, you're going to want the Dragon Scale leg armor. One sec. Dragon Scale leg armor. Pretty expensive, but 190 attack power, 55 crit. Once again, if you can afford these things, pick them up. If you can't, don't. For the belt, you want the Ebon Steel belt buckle as another slot, prismatic slot. So I would have 3 Inferno Rubies there, the ones that give agility. I don't remember any names this early in the morning. For the gloves, you want Mastery. Where is it? Gloves, Mastery, 50 Mastery, no big deal, pretty cheap. What else? For the bracers, you want the 50 crit or, well, see, like, look how expensive that is. If you actually went out and bought all these things, you have to have a lot of money, and I don't have a lot of money. So you're supposed to get the 50 agility, but you can also pick up the crit if you're welfare like me. But I think that's it. What am I missing? The cape, you can get the 50 crit as well. I don't need to search them all up. I have them already. The boots, okay, I need that one. Boots, I think it's Mastery. No, it's Assassin Step. Once again, really expensive, but it's the best one there is. This one you can get for tanking if you are bear tank. But that's it, I think. If you're an enchanter, you can get the enchants on those. But for professions, for a druid, I would recommend definitely herbalism, because you can fly around and get like not unmount while you're flying. And well, I went with alchemy, but you can go with inscription, you can go with enchanting, you can go with anything pretty much. You go with blacksmithing, but then you'd probably have to go with sorry, not blacksmithing, jewel crafting. Then you have to go with mining, because jewel crafting gives you that 67 agility instead of 40. So that covers gems and enchants. Next we're going to get into glyphs. I guess I don't need to cut the scene. Glyphs. First one, Glyph of Rip, increases the periodic damage of your Rip by 50%. Absolutely necessary. Rip is your #1 damage dealer, does the most damage. Definitely can't pass that one up. Glyph of Berserk increases the duration of Berserk by 10 seconds. Berserk's your main cooldown. Making it longer is just OP. Nothing much more to say. Bloodletting, this one's optional. This one's kind of controversial. I go with Bloodletting, but you can also go with Savage Roar. Bloodletting is more for PvP, and Savage Roar is PvE. So if you're doing PvE, you're going to want to go Savage Roar, PvP, Bloodletting. Glyph of Rebirth, if you're doing PvP, once again, you don't need this. It's a PvE stat. Same thing with this one. This is strictly PvP. You don't need it for PvE. This one, Glyph of Feral Charge, isn't really necessary, but there's not too many other options that you can take. You can take Bark Skin, which is, I don't know, it's kind of preference. I prefer to go with Feral Charge, have a 28-second Feral Charge, but Bark Skin is also pretty useful if you're a bear tank, or even for PvP if you're getting targeted. Pop that and you're taking even less damage on top of the, I think it's 20 plus 70. So 70% damage reduction plus 25% crit reduction is pretty big. But once again, it's pretty much preference. But for these last ones, doesn't really matter. I'd recommend going with that. Unburdened Rebirth is definitely a big advantage. Dash is pretty cool too. That's pretty much it for glyphs. Glyphs aren't that crazy important, except for maybe the primary ones, or the major, whatever they're called. So that covers glyphs. And now for the final part of this guide, which is going to be my talent tree spec thingy. This is my personal spec. I know the feral class pretty well. This is for PvE, if you're going to put 3 Fury Swipes. This one also isn't really necessary for PvE, but I put it in anyway, because what I usually do is I make a balance of both PvE and PvP in both my specs. Like I have it for Resto on my chamois as well, and I'll make like a balance of both. And yeah, so this one is Feral Aggression. That's going to put your 3 stacks of Fairy Fire in the first shot, like you saw earlier. Feral Charge and Stampede, you definitely need. King of the Jungle, pick it up. Leader of the Pack, very nice buff. Brutal Impact, this is where it gets tricky. A lot of people don't put Nurturing Instinct. Increases your healing spells by up to 50% of your agility, and increases the healing done to you by 20% once you spec into it in cat form, which makes you easy to heal in 2s or even in a raid. But a lot of people will spec into both. A lot of people spec into one. Most people probably spec into this one, but it's optional. I mean, what I usually do is I spec into both because they're both useful, and I don't really have anywhere else to put them. I don't spec into Fear because I don't really give a shit, because I don't change into Bear that much. Survival Instincts definitely need it, but this is kind of optional. Maybe you guys should just go search it up, look at both of them, and decide for yourselves, because I can't tell you what's going to help you most for your raid comp, for your 2s comp, your 3s comp. It's optional. Primal Madness, I used to spec into that, but then I realized all it does is increase your maximum energy, and your enrage also generates 6 rage. Okay, well the 6 rage is pointless. We're talking about cat BT DPS. Primal Madness, it increases your energy cap by 20, and you shouldn't ever be letting your energy go past maybe like 90 anyway. So completely useless. Don't spec into it. Now you don't need this. You don't need that. Those are both bear things. You can spec into those if you want bear. Gives you 50%. That's also a tanking one, but a lot of people pick them up because it adds combo point every time it crits, I think. Does that say? And critical strikes from cat form abilities. Yeah, so you're gonna want to pick that one up too. Increases the duration of Rake. Definitely want to pick that up. This is a PvE talent. PvE talent right here, right here. I usually spec into it because, like I said, I make a hybrid of both PvE and PvP specs. This one, bear form. So these 3 you're going to want to add if you're bear form, or if you're going tanking. This one too, kind of. This one's not really necessary. And then for the resto spec, you're going to want this. You're going to want this because it increases your attack power by 10% in cat form. And you're going to want Master Shapeshifter, which is going to leave you with 1 talent point unspent. I'm trying to think of where I could put this. I don't know what I had before. You don't need this. A lot of people take that one. A lot of people put it into Fury. I think I'm going to go with, you know what, I don't know, I'm just going to go in Fury. Alright, so I'm just going to go, with Fury. Alright, learn. So that is your spec as a feral cat. Does decent damage. Do not spec into Primal Madness. I see a lot of guides that tell you to spec into Primal Madness. Not worth it. If you are DPSing as cat, definitely not worth it. That pretty much sums it up. I did gems, enchants, glyphs, rotation. I think that's pretty much it. If you guys have any comments, suggestions, questions, leave them as a comment or PM me. I'm going to be making a Boomkin guide, same stuff. All the same aspects I covered for the feral cat I'll be doing for Boomkin. So look out for that in the near future. If you guys have any questions, like I said, PM me or just leave a comment, I guess. Thanks for watching, guys, and don't forget to subscribe. Peace.